on tips of dental practice management and maintenance. Dr. Sumit Bembe is a clinician par excellence and a passionate teacher. A gold medalist during his MDS in conservative dentistry and endodontics from A.B. Shetty Dental College. He went on to serve as professor and head at SKSS Dental College, Ludhiana. Since 2015, he has been dedicated to full-time clinical practice at Dr. Bembe's Dental Care, Ludhiana, where he combines high-end dentistry with a strong patient-centric approach. His expertise covers advanced endodontics, implantology, and dental clinic design and management, making him a true innovator in the field. Let us all warmly welcome Professor Dr. Sumit Bembe.
Thank you, one and all. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. It's such an overwhelming experience to be standing in front of such an august gathering of all my teachers, my fellow seniors whom I have attended numerous seminars and learned so many things from them, which I can never forget throughout my practice, which has been there for almost 17 years. My mentor, sir, is there. So there is nothing more overwhelming for us to stand in front of all of you and talk about it. There has been a lot of brainstorming which has been going on about all this topic which all of you might be very well versed with. It is the Makkah of education. This is where we learned everything from you. So, but still I thought there is one aspect of the clinic which once you graduate or postgraduate from here, which makes a lot of importance to you, is how are you going to manage the show which you have been envisioning from the day you started your journey as a dental student in this college. Coming to managing a dental clinic. Now, managing a dental clinic, it is not just providing clinical science or the clinical expertise, which is the core foundation of this. What it is about is an art and science of running a full-fledged business. There are a lot of aspects of the clinic which as students or as practitioners we neglect, and at the later stage of our journey we might have to rely on the technician, or we might have to rely on a clinical interior designer to design it for us and tell us how we are going to be managing a clinic. So the management of the clinic, it starts with designing an efficient, patient-friendly setup where the patient feels he's at a lot of comfort, the right location, choosing the right equipments which you're going to be equipping your clinic with so that you can deliver the seamless operations. Once you have envisioned, you have conceptualized your own clinic, right from the thought process, the planning process, then one fine day you open up your own clinic with a lot of heart, a lot of expectations. That is where the real challenge begins. It involves a lot of interconnection between lots of spheres of clinic management, which might be marketing your services, delivering consistent clinical excellence, promoting your clinic to strengthen the brand identity, that it is this doctor in this competitive world whom I want to go through and get my dental job done. There might be a lot of clinics around you, but what makes you different is what we're just gonna touch upon it. You all are seasoned clinicians here. I am no one to tell you what's right, what's wrong. It's just my perspective. It's my clinical expertise, my clinical experiences through all these years which I've gone through, which I'm going to share. It might not be appealing to a lot of people. Maybe it might be appealing to, but if you get any one point which resonates with your own wisdom, I think it's worth the talk. So let me just go through this in a quick span of 10 to 15 minutes. This is my perspective. The illustrations are taken up from my own clinic with a lot of guidance when it was conceptualized by one of my mentors, Dr. Shishir Shetty sir. He was there to discuss it when I was just on my starting days of my practice. So basically, dental clinic system is an ecosystem. You have to balance what your patients need, their satisfaction. Then you have to have that operational efficiency, and at the same time, you have to see the long-term growth of your clinic, how that clinic is going to be effective for me to go on in the future and be clinically satisfied and even economically satisfied. So this presentation will be holistically dealing about strategies to maintain your clinic, which might involve planning, keeping in mind the maintenance. We don't envision our clinic as a system. We just envision as a clinic when we are starting that I'm opening up a clinic. We don't see what we open up right now is what's going to cause us a lot of problems in the areas or the times to come. The planning has to be exceptional for you to be able to manage that show so nicely that it is economically viable and satisfying to you as a practitioner. In my perspective, I'm going to divide this clinical management into two aspects. One is the clinical aspect of the dental clinic, and another is the non-clinical management. The clinical aspect, you're very well aware, might involve your diagnosis, your treatment planning, your clinical procedures, your infection control and follow-ups. What are the non-clinical management is where the science begins, which I'm going to be talking about today. It's your finance. It's the procurement of dental materials that you're going to be purchasing. It's your staff management, your HR part, your equipment maintenance, and your marketing. On the top of it, one of the topics which is quite ignored are the soft skills. The soft skills which really play a lot of important role once into your clinical practice. It is the experience, it is the impact which your words create on the patient. Is that what they carry with themselves? You know, as the saying goes, a neat clinic attracts the patient, but your words and attitudes retain them. So never forget or never underestimate of all the opportunities you get while in your college days or in your PG days when you are in this institution to develop the skills which are going to leave a lot of good impression on the patients with whom you are going to be dealing tomorrow. However important we might talk about the non-clinical part or the communication skills, I must say that the beginning of your clinical management starts with your clinical excellence. There is no substitute for your skill and craft which you develop, which you hone over the years. That is impeccable. It has to be the right so that you can quite well deliver the patient very much what you can have is the value for money treatment. It has to be predictable results. You know, for that you have to have the right precision, the knowledge, and the confidence to deliver what you promise. So in my topic, or in my today's speech, I might not be touching on that aspect of the clinic, which I'm very sure you have been practicing over and over again by a lot of CDs, a lot of programs, a lot of your trainings in the dental school. So what gets less attention, but is equally critical, is the non-clinical side of the management of the clinic. It is here where I'm going to put my spotlight on. You know, the clinical part has been excellently explained by a lot of my colleagues, but they say the success of it lies not where the spotlight is, but where the darkness is. So we have to look at those parts which very often they are neglected, because it is here in these seemingly invisible functions that a clinic's sustainability, growth, and profitability of that clinic is truly shaped. The non-clinical aspects, they're not just running an operations. Once you're in the clinic, you yourself are the clinician, you are yourself are the promoter, you yourself are the marketing man, you are yourself who's going to be, you know, managing the whole show. The stocks, the management of your staff, everything has to be done by that clinician who's running that show. And in this competitive world, mastering this side of the clinical management can be as impactful as delivering an excellent clinical care. So the focus today is going to be on what? Is going to be plan smartly. You know, once you have thought, you have cleared in your mind that I'm going to open up a dental clinic, you have your baby in your mind, you have conceptualized, you have walked through your clinical plan, you know, your outlays, how should my clinic be? Once that has happened, you have to make sure that it is rightly in place. Then you have to see, is this plan going to operate efficiently? Am I going to maintain this plan diligently and be able to deliver excellent clinical care? Sometimes it's not the patient's teeth which is bothering your practice. It is your own systems. It is your own systems within the walls of your clinic where you get bogged up and you are like, oh, I don't know what's going wrong. I didn't have a fruitful day. Or fruitful is not necessarily professional satisfaction. Fruitful is when you go back home, you're relaxed, you can spend time with your family and you're happy about it. Yes, I'm doing good. So that is the one which we'll be talking about. In my own perspective, this is not substantiated by any literature. I'm going to be dividing this thing into two parts. First is the smart planning for your clinic and the continuous ongoing maintenance, because these are the operations which are not visible to the patients, but that is what keeps the clinics running. The patients might not see it, but the patients experience this every day. So we are going to have it in two phases. First is the planning phase, and second is an operational stage. Once you have made up your clinic, how are you going to operate those equipments which we bought at the start of this clinic? In the planning stage, you basically, when you think about your clinic, you might have few points in your head. One is your location. Where do you think I'm going to open up my clinic? Which is going to be the right place? Once you have your location in your mind, The moment your patient enters your clinic, the first thing he watches is your waiting area or your reception desk. So another part you need is an reception desk. The next, when you move on, you might have few operatories. You might need couple of operatories. You might think I might have a 3-chair practice. I might have a 5-chair practice. That's entirely your call. After the practice, another important thing which you might need is your dental office, where you think you might have to do a few consults with your patients. You might need a sterilization area, and you might need a mechanical room where the whole thing goes on. So the basic ingredients for your clinic are mentioned here. Coming to just slightly touching on each aspect of this, we have to have a location which is quite strategic. The location, this is an illustration or a picture of my clinic where I belong. You can have a location which is accessible to the patient. The patients can easily come. In today's world, whether it's Bangalore, whether it's Ludhiana, Delhi, traffic is a big issue. Make sure once you're planning your clinic, you have a place where there is ample of parking space. If there's not ample, you have a provision where your patients can be easily accessed to or have place for your parking. Then you have your neighborhood, your facilities, even the competition. Now there are two schools of thought. Some people might say, I might not open up a clinic in this place because there are a lot of clinics here. And the other aspect of looking at things is, I might open my practice up here because there are a lot of clinics here. Patients know that if I need a dental treatment, this is the area where I have to come. So that's something like, you have a lot of options. The patient might be coming there for any reasons in your contemporary's practice. He's not happy, he might move into your practice. Coming to the clinic design. Whenever you are talking about the clinic designs, I think what is most important is to have a clinic which is looked towards your patient's eyes. Don't have your own eyes. You imagine yourself as a patient. Once a patient enters your clinic, what is he going to be looking at? He might look at your clinical efficiency at a later stage of his appointment, but initially, what you want him to see. In my practice, if a patient walks in, I am guiding him. That is what my beloved and my respected staff used to tell me. Once you're giving your vivas, you lead your viva. If you are very thorough and ardent with your own subject which you're going to be speaking about, you can drive your own vivas. You can lead to your staff member to whatever question he's going to ask next. So immediately, the same principle applies to your clinic. Once you have it, just remember, what is it that I want my patients to see? I don't want him to see, things which are not going to inspire confidence in him. I might him to see a bright, nice, welcoming area, an organized reception desk, certificates. You can have a wall of fame and hide things which raises anxiety. As such, a patient who enters walks into a clinic is anxious. I'm going to get dental treatment done. I heard root canals are very painful. Oh, I heard it's going to be really damning. I'm not there to frighten him up more. I'm there to calm him up. You win his trust. You make him feel that he's at the right place. And it's that impact which is going to be created by the clinic which he's going to be walking into. Now, this is the place where I work, just a small picture of my operatory. Now, the core idea of your design is that my clinic's design should be intentional. It should highlight, it is intentional, I'm deliberately showing these things. When you walk up, I deliberately want the clinic patient to look at this and to ignore the other part. Main thing is highlight what reassures, conceals what alarms him. Patients carry not just the treatment, but the impression of your clinic. So show them the safety, hide the stress. Coming quickly to those areas, your waiting area, a lot of young graduates come up and they say, sir, I don't have the money to open up a posh clinic. Do I need a lot of bread to open up this clinic? So it is not necessary. Your waiting area does not need to be a hi-fi waiting area. It can be a highly impactful area. Where the patient comes, he has an impact about it. Okay, this is a well-managed clinic. I think I'm at the right place. It reassures him, manages his anxiety. So if you look at, you need to have cleanliness over costly interiors. You need to have comfort over the luxury. Don't worry about the costing. Don't worry, everybody has an humble beginning. Need not necessarily be the best waiting lounges, best waiting areas, but it can be very clean. It can be spotless. You can have a reception desk, which is nicely arranged. You can just think about it as if you walk in. Forget that you're a doctor. Just think of yourself as a patient. If I'm entering anybody's clinic for any kind of a service which is going to be provided to me, what all are the things that I expect from that person? One of my seniors once told me, a VIP patient is always a VIP. Even in today's world, a non-VIP patient is also a VIP. Every patient is equally important. He's paying for a service, he's providing, he deserves the right to be treated nicely and to be felt comfortable. So, in our clinic, we have small attentions. We have a small reception desk. We make sure we have a hand sanitizer there. We have few tissue papers there. We have smooth, calm music to allay the anxiety. And there should be a freshness of odor there. You do not have a clinic where sometimes a lot of clinicians think that reception will switch on the AC when the patient comes. It's not necessary. But that is the first place where he's going to walk in and he's going to create an impact. That's going to help you get the new patients, and even your own patients are going to feel very much reassured that my doctor is doing good, he's maintaining high standards, and for sure he's on the ride. I'll be very quick. Once you have your reception desk in place, the next comes are your operatory designs. The operatory designs is one place where you're going to be spending most of the time. You can have two types of operatories where you have a toe entry operatory or you can have an head entry operatory. I personally prefer a toe entry operatory where the patient, once he enters to your operatory, he is entering towards the feet of the patient, his head is towards the wall. Behind the wall, you can have your slabs where all of the mesh work is there. There are a lot of advantages of having a toe entry operatory. Mostly you can control the view of the patient. What the patient is seeing once he comes and lies down onto the dental chair is very important. Is he seeing there's a lot of mess around? Is he seeing those equipments which look like sharp needles? He might not know it's a file. He might just think these are needles. Doctors, there are so many needles. Are you going to poke all those needles into me? And you are like, no, this is just part of the equipments. So make sure what is your patient seeing once he's on your dental chair. If he's seeing, your operatory is designed in a way that it's a toe entry operatory, you can curate the vision of the patient. Where he's lying down, what he is seeing in the wall in front of him. Maybe you can have few paintings, maybe you can have your wall of fame, which shows a lot of your certificates, so that the anxious part of the clinic is not there. The equipments, the instruments that can all be placed behind the patient. It is more comfortable for the patients. It is more neatly organized because it's easy for your assistant to pass on those equipments without the patient actually noticing them. Especially the needles, which creates a lot of fear in the patients, can always be filled in a place where the patient cannot see them, that you are just filling an injection and that is going to be shot into my mouth. Because at the end of the day, it's an experience. There are so many service providers with almost equal clinical skills. You might not have a lot of difference in various clinical clinicians. Somebody might be 18, somebody might be 20. But it is the experience. It is the service. You have a coffee which is given for 20 rupees. You have a coffee which is served for 500 rupees. It's the same coffee. But the difference is the way it is done and the experience patient takes back once he gets the dental treatment done at your clinic, that makes him feel, wow, that's worth it, yeah? Maybe the doctor is costly, but the treatment was wonderful. I had a wonderful experience. I didn't realize that I was in a dental clinic. I just felt I was in a lounge. So you can plan it that way. Moving ahead, the benefits of your toe entry, your staff can access your instruments. You can restock the shelves behind the chair without the patient noticing it. The patient head area is constantly exposed, not constantly exposed to the entries and exits, which helps the patient maintain the privacy and reduces his anxiety. Lastly, yes, you can maintain an impression because the patient subconsciously feels that the clinic is organized, it's hygienic. What they see, that inspires confidence in them. Patients might not know that the width of the cavity was more than 2 mm, which you prepared a small class 1, but again, he just sees, what he sees is what inspires confidence in him. Dentist office, yes, it's another aspect of your clinic. Once you are planning your clinic where you have a dental office, it is very important. A place where your clinic can talk, your patients can talk in person with you. We commonly say a dentist office should hear the secrets of the patients, but at the same side should see the whole story. So in your office, once you're sitting in your clinic office, in your office or dentist room, whatever you say, and you're discussing the patients with the patient, all the aspects of the clinic, as our sir said, the consent of the patient. At the same time, the patient should feel that he's in total confidentiality when he's talking talking to you, but you yourself still are able to see what's going on in your clinic. So plan it in a way that your eyes are on the whole of the clinic, but the patient eyes are on you. So if he's just seeing you, his focus of attention is the dentist, and the dentist's focus of attention is him and all the area which is going around the whole clinic. You can have a lot of CCTVs, but make sure in your clinic when you don't have big desktops, screens, where there are all images, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images of your clinics are going on, because that creates an impression of to the patient as if he's sitting in a surveillance room. So you don't want it to be a surveillance room. You want your clinic office to be such an area where the patient feels he can confidentially talk to you. Now this is what we have in our practice. The patient sits in the area seat which is here, and we are sitting across this desk. He can talk. He doesn't know what's going on behind my practice. He doesn't know whether my staff is cleaning all the clinic. I know which is the person who's doing what. If I have a new patient entry or the next appointment which has come in time, I can definitely rush up my talk with this patient, but still the patient doesn't feel that he's not attended to. So you have to strike a balance in your office. Moving on, we are rushing it up. You have to have a sterilization zone in your clinic, and I believe that it is better to show. It's, don't just sterilize, but show that you sterilize. A visible sterilization zone in your clinic, it really works wonders for the patients. Patients doesn't understand the clinical cycle of your autoclaves or the bioburdens of it, but what he understands is, oh, it is being cleanly managed. Oh, there is an instrumentation, there's a staff who's wearing all the attire of infection control thing and packing the instruments. Yes, that's going to inspire a lot of confidence in him. We took up this idea from open air, kitchens, live kitchens, which is a quite renowned concept these days. You go to high-end restaurants, you see they have live kitchens. You see the kitchen, you see the chef working, and you are relaxed that, oh, I'm at the right place, everything is very clean, everything is going to be fine. Yes, you look at this, there is no dust on for sure. The chef is wearing the cap. Similarly, if I have it in my clinic where I show what's being done to the patient, he might feel reassured that yes, I'm in safe hands. I'm not going to carry back with me any return gifts like an HIV or a HCV or hepatitis. In fact, I'm very sure this is a nicely clinic. Everything's cleanly done. So
Dr.
in
Bindi,
our clinic,
sorry to interfere. Kindly 2 minutes, please.
Ji.
You're running out of time.
Acha. Oh, sorry. Then yes, we'll first go to another aspect of the clinic, that is your mechanical room. I would strongly say that make sure you have a separate mechanical room. Mechanical room is basically your engine which is going to be driving your own clinic. It need to have the water supply, which is like the fuel line of your engine. You have a beautiful car. That's all what people see. Oh, that's a nice car. But they don't know the engine behind it. They don't know the whole story. You need to have a proper air and vacuum systems. You need to have a power backup. We again go fast. The water supply area, make sure you've got water supplies to individual chairs which are separately placed. You have a gate valve so that anything goes wrong in the operatory area, you can easily shut off the wall to that particular chair and the show keeps on running on. You don't have to, stop the practice. You don't have to call the plumber and the whole thing goes in for a toss. You have got filters placed in your water line, but at the same time, we would recommend you all to have a sediment filter. That is pretty relatively cheap, helps to increase the life of your filters so that I don't have to repeatedly call my technician to change the dental filters. Coming to compressors, again a critical part, they are the lungs of your practice which are going to be driving the air pure, steady and make your practice breathe. You may find, I can assure you, 7 people out of 10, they don't know what is the size of compressor do I need for my practice. It is just the salesman who's going to tell you, sir, aap itna le lijiye, that is good enough. It's your money. You have to value for your money. You have to have a basis for buying a particular equipment for my own clinic. So once it comes to compressors, we might know 3 important facts, which is your airflow. How much is the airflow do I need for a particular chair and for my dental handpiece? Then how much is the air pressure which is going to be needed for my dental equipments to work? At the same time, I need to know what size of the tank do I need to buy so that I am making an informed decision of buying a particular size of a compressor for my own dental practice. Once you have bought it, there are a few additions you need to put in your compressor. Again, a gate valve. You again need to have an FRC, which is very critical. If you look at this illustration, we'll be going up. You have a gate vault so that you can stop the airflow to your chairs at any time you wish. Supposedly you have a PU pipe which is going in, it blasts off after 5 years of your practice, and the whole thing is like making a lot of sound, and your one operator is out of business because of this, and the whole clinic is not working. So once you are planning that, make sure you have a gate wall which you can stop the flow of your air to your practice. Then you need to have an FRC in the pipeline. This is again very important. That's a filter regulator filter regulation, so that it is going to filter the dust particles which are coming in the compressed air, and at the same time it is going to regulate the amount of pressure you need for your dental chairs. Don't have high pressures. Keep into mind when you are selecting the pressure about whether you have a pneumatic suction or a compressed or automatic suctions. Then another aspect is a mist remover. A lot of clinics don't have this. A lot of seasoned clinics, they might not have it, they might just have an air dryer. But it is always better if you have a mist dryer in line. As you can see, you have a mist remover which is going to remove the mist. And then you have a air dryer, so that the air which reaches your operatory or your handpieces, your scalers are absolutely dry, especially in case of composite fillings when you're drying after an etching component. If you are using total etch technique, make sure that the air is dried. A very good air dryer comes of Trident company. You can install it in your airlines. So once you're installing your airline, you need to have a gate wall, you need to have FRCs, you need to have mist removers, and you need to have air dryers. I think it's an elaborate topic. I'll just rush up very quickly. The next thing which comes is your air-vac systems. In air-vac systems, again, apart from the drain line, one common problem which sees in northern India is about the temperature rise. Because of extreme heat, all these equipments, if you buy centralized air suctions, they heat up and they stop, or they decrease the amount of, life they have. So make sure your air-vac systems are placed in a ventilated area, for which the doors of your mechanical room are mandatorily to have louvers. And secondly, last thing which I like to stress upon is, don't have a ceiling fan in your mechanical room. A lot of dentists, what problems they create is, you have a separate mechanical room, you have a ceiling fan installed. Once your suction is working, it's going to heat up. The hot air is going to rise up. The moment the hot air rises up, your ceiling fan pushes it down. Again, your suctions hang up at the brittle, especially if you're using DUR suction. DUR suction have this very common problem. You call a technician, again, he's going to charge you a lot of money, and money saved is money earned. You value your money more, if I would. So as the system,
we are running out of time. Please.
So thank you very much. I think we'll have a further talk in some other day. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Monica, please take stage. I think we'll save any questions for the resource persons or from the panelists by the email. Yeah, and Dr. Monica is the last presenter, and I'm sure we will wind up at the